What's up guys, enjoy the video and subscribe.
This story is titled, "During a Fight, My Sister Shouted, 'No wonder Mom and Dad love me more.' I just said, 'You're adopted. You know that, right?' I was joking, or so I thought. Until Dad pulled me aside later and whispered, 'Don't tell her yet.' Let me just say this right out the gate. If anyone in my family ends up in therapy, it's probably going to be my fault. Not because I'm some horrible, toxic person, but because I have this god-awful habit of saying the exact wrong thing at the exact worst time, usually with a smirk and a mouthful of Cheez-Its. Take, for example, my sister Katie. Katie, 17F, high school senior, varsity everything, emotional terrorist with a skincare routine more aggressive than my tax guy. She walks around like she's one sarcastic side-eye away from her Netflix special. Parents adore her. Teachers worship her. Meanwhile, I'm standing over here at 20M with a part-time job, community college credits, and a car that sounds like a dying lawnmower when I reverse. She gets, "Katie, we're so proud of you." I get, "You still working at that sandwich shop, champ?" So it shouldn't be surprising that we fight. Like, a lot. Classic sibling stuff. Who finished the cereal, who left wet towels on the floor, who passive-aggressively moved the laundry pile into the sink. But a few weeks ago? Oh man, we had the fight. The kind of fight that makes angels cringe and neighbors mute their Ring doorbells. It started because she borrowed my headphones without asking. Again, I found them in her room covered in glitter. Don't ask. I said something like, "Glad to know boundaries are just theoretical to you." And she snapped back with, "Glad to know you're still pretending you matter in this house." And then she dropped the line, "No wonder Mom and Dad love me more." Like she was dropping a mic after a slam poem. Just standing there, arms crossed, hair in that smug high ponytail that makes you want to commit petty crimes. And that's when it happened. I hit her with the line that changed our lives. "You're adopted. You know that, right?" I said it in that deadpan, big brother tone that says, "I'm obviously full of sh*t, but I'm gonna say it so well you'll doubt yourself at least once tonight before bed." I expected the usual eye roll. Maybe a shove. Maybe she'd throw my socks in the trash again, who knows. But instead, she froze. Like, blinked twice, then just shut down. Didn't yell. Didn't argue. Just stared at me with this weird, wide-eyed look like I just announced aliens were real and she was one of them. She didn't say a word. Just turned around and walked out of the room. And I stood there, halfway through a bag of Doritos, feeling like I'd just opened the wrong envelope in a spy movie. Later that night, Dad pulled me aside in the garage. And I swear on everything holy, he leaned in and said, real quiet, "Don't tell her yet." My jaw actually dropped. Not metaphorically. Like, I almost choked on my spit. Because apparently, I wasn't joking. So there I am, still clutching a half-eaten granola bar, standing in the garage under that flickering LED light Dad refuses to replace because it's fine. And he drops that nuclear sentence like it's no big deal. Don't tell her yet. Like he just asked me to keep a surprise birthday party under wraps and not, the entire foundation of my sister's identity. I stared at him like he'd grown a second head. And not a helpful second head. One of those weird little Voldemort ones from the back of a cursed skull. "What?" I said, totally calm and collected, meaning my voice cracked like a 13-year-old boy seeing boobs for the first time. He sighed and leaned on the workbench like this was just another day in the dad life. "Oil change, mow the lawn, drop an adoption bomb on your oldest kid." "Katie doesn't know," he said. "We've been waiting for the right time." Right time? I blinked. "You mean like, not during a domestic WWE match over Bluetooth headphones?" "Exactly," he nodded. "Like I just passed the comprehension quiz. We thought we'd tell her when she was older." Older? She's 17. She's legally allowed to vote in some states and probably emotionally capable of starting a cult. Dad rubbed the back of his neck the way he does when he knows he's about to say something deeply stupid. "We didn't want her to feel different." "Dad, she is different. She's emotionally stable, academically successful, and owns more skincare than I own socks." That was already suspicious. He gave me a look. One of those stop deflecting with humor looks. But like, "Sir, what else am I supposed to do? Cry into a wrench?" So he told me. Everything. Apparently, Katie was adopted at birth. Closed adoption. Local agency. My parents had been trying for years, and when I popped out, surprise, with my colic, asthma, and penchant for biting electrical cords, they figured one was probably enough biological chaos. A couple years later, they applied for adoption and got matched with Katie. She was the perfect baby, he said, smiling in this distant, weirdly nostalgic way. Quiet, curious. Never even spit up. "Wow," I said. "That must have been nice after the human air horn you'd already raised." He chuckled, and I hated how relieved he looked. Like finally saying it out loud had popped some decades-old blister he'd been limping around on. I asked why they hadn't told her. Why they hadn't told me. And he just said the words every emotionally constipated dad says when they're way out of their depth. We didn't know how. Great. Just wonderful. My sister's whole existence is a footnote in a family secret so fragile it couldn't even survive a sarcastic joke from her idiot brother. So, what now? I asked, because clearly I needed instructions on how to exist in this post-truth hellscape. He just stared at the floor. We have to tell her. But not like this. You sped things up. Right? Sorry for turbocharging the existential crisis. He finally looked up. Can you keep this quiet? Just until we figure out the right way. I nodded. Not because I wanted to, but because holy SHD, how do you even bring that up at breakfast? Asterisk. Sure, I said. I'll just casually not mention that her entire genetic lineage is a mystery while we pass the pancakes. He clapped my shoulder. Thanks, son. I went back inside, brain spinning, heart doing this weird stutter step like it couldn't figure out if we were having a panic attack or just indigestion. Katie was in her room with the door closed, probably blasting music and plotting my public execution. And all I could think was, I made a joke about her being adopted, and life responded with, plot twist. If you've ever made the mistake of telling a teenage girl she's not the center of the universe, I salute your bravery. If you've ever done it after jokingly cracking open her entire bloodline like a fortune cookie, well, then you're me. And I sincerely hope your couch is comfier than mine was. After the headphone fight and the weird garage confessional with Dad, I was told, firmly, to act normal. Which, in this family, means stuffing everything toxic into a psychological Tupperware and shoving it behind the mental lasagna from 2007. But Katie wasn't acting normal. Katie was acting like Regina George got possessed by Satan and discovered sarcasm as a weapon. She started going out of her way to piss me off. She used my toothbrush, with no shame, left it soaking in a coffee mug of mystery liquid like it was marinating. She accidentally wore my hoodie to school, the one hoodie I actually liked. When I asked why, she said, "Oh, I thought it was Dad's," then winked. And food. Forget it. Every leftover I tried to claim magically disappeared. My name on the Tupperware meant nothing. It was Hunger Games, sibling edition, and she was winning with a kill count of 5 burritos and a whole cheesecake. I tried to keep my cool. For Dad. For the secret. For reasons. But after the third night in a row of her blasting TikToks at full volume while I tried to write a midterm paper, something inside me cracked. She stormed into the kitchen, threw her bag on the floor, looked me dead in the eyes, and said, "You're not even a real adult. You're like a man-child who lives off granola bars and emotional repression." Thanks, I said. That's rich coming from someone who has a literal Pinterest board titled Birthday Fit. That's when she said it again. No wonder Mom and Dad love me more. And this time, I didn't even think. I just snapped. Oh yeah? Maybe that's because they picked you. Silence. Immediate. Total. Silence. You could have heard a spider fart. Katie blinked. What? My soul left my body. I saw it floating above me, flipping me off. Behind us, Mom dropped a spoon. Dad walked in from the hallway, eyes wide like he'd just walked into an armed robbery. And Katie, God help me. Katie whispered, "What do you mean they picked me?" I tried to walk it back. I didn't mean, it was a joke. Like last time. You know. Kidding, haha. But she wasn't laughing. She looked at Mom, then Dad, and said, "Is it true?" Mom's lips moved, but no sound came out. Dad looked like he aged 10 years in 10 seconds. That was the moment she knew. It wasn't the words, it was the silence. The slow, guilty blink my mom did. The way Dad took one step toward her and stopped like he wasn't allowed anymore. Katie's face crumpled like someone had pulled her strings loose all at once. She didn't scream. She didn't yell. She just said, "So, it's true," and left the room. And my parents? Oh, they snapped back to life real quick. "Get out," Dad said. Low and cold. Wait, what? It was an accident. I said, "Get out," he shouted, louder than I'd ever heard him. You had one job. One F asterisk asterisk king job. Mom didn't say anything, just turned her back on me. So I left, grabbed my keys, walked out into the night air. No jacket, no dignity. Just me and the realization that my big dumb mouth had just taken a wrecking ball to our entire family dynamic. And the worst part? I didn't even feel angry. I felt empty. Like whatever awkward, sarcastic, guilt-ridden version of myself I'd been hauling around for years had finally cracked open, and all that was left inside was one sentence on repeat. "You're adopted. You're adopted. You're adopted." And this time, nobody was laughing. You ever have a moment so bad it replays on a loop in your brain like a TikTok sound you never asked for? That was me. Every hour. Every minute. Just reliving the words, the silence, the crying to get out. And the worst part? I couldn't even argue. I mean, what the hell do you say when your little sister finds out she's adopted because you couldn't keep your sarcasm zip-tied for 5 minutes? After I got kicked out, I crashed on my friend Ryan's couch. He's the kind of guy who doesn't ask questions, just hands you a blanket and a beer and says, to whatever stupid thing you did, may it never end up on the internet. The first few days, I tried telling myself it wasn't that bad, that they'd calm down, that Katie would text, that my dad would get over it after yelling into the fridge or whatever boomer dads do when they're emotionally overwhelmed. Nope. On day 3, he called. I shouldn't have answered. But guilt makes you do dumb things, like answering unknown numbers and convincing yourself maybe it's mom calling from a burner phone. It wasn't mom. You are the worst son I've ever had, he said. No hello. No preamble. Just straight to the jugular. I'm your only son, I said, because apparently I haven't learned a damn thing about shutting up. He didn't laugh. If Katie doesn't recover from this, I'll never forgive you. I wanted to say something back, that maybe they should have told her before I did, that maybe this wasn't entirely on me. But instead, I just stood there in Ryan's kitchen, staring at a bag of tortilla chips like it held the answers to life, and said, okay, that was it. Click. After that, I tried reaching out to Katie. Texted. Called. Emailed. I even left a voicemail that started with, hey, it's your piece of SHT brother, asterisk, and only got sadder from there. Blocked. On everything. Instagram? Blocked. Snapchat? Blocked. Phone? Yep. Venmo? Blocked. Venmo. Who blocks someone on Venmo? I couldn't get to her. Couldn't undo it. Couldn't even apologize. So I just sat in my friend's living room for a week, marinating in stale body spray, shame, and the sound of Ryan's weird-ass sleep breathing. By day 6, I was brushing my teeth in the kitchen sink and realized I'd hit rock bottom when I caught myself wondering if I could make coffee with Monster Energy and old Keurig pots. Answer: you can, but you shouldn't. By day 7, I knew what I had to do. I couldn't fix this through text. I couldn't undo the damage with another half-assed voicemail or late-night meme. I had to go back. In person. In shame. In total surrender. So I packed up my backpack, still smelled faintly like Doritos and failure, and walked the 6 blocks back to my parents' house. The porch light was off. The windows dark. The whole house looked colder than I remembered, like even it was mad at me. I stood there for a full 2 minutes before knocking. Practiced what I was going to say in my head. I'm sorry. I messed up. I didn't mean to ruin everything. Then I knocked. Once. Twice. And waited to see if the people on the other side still remembered who I was when I wasn't the guy who told the world a secret no one was ready to hear. The door opened slowly. Like I was a goddamn Jehovah's Witness they were trying to ghost. And behind it was Mom. She didn't say anything at first. No. Hi. No. What are you doing here? Not even a disappointed sigh, which, honestly, would have felt like a hug compared to the vacuum of emotion she gave me. I stood there like a wet sock on a cold floor. Backpack on one shoulder. Hand shoved in my hoodie like maybe I could disappear into the fabric if I hunched low enough. Hey, I said, my voice barely holding itself together. Can I talk to you? She just stared at me. I couldn't even tell if she was sad, or tired, or just done. Then finally, she stepped aside. Not exactly an invitation, but not a door in the face either. I walked in like a criminal returning to the scene of a crime, half expecting the FBI to burst out from behind the couch yelling, "We got him." The house was too quiet. Not calm quiet. The way a room gets when someone's been crying there for hours and the grief has soaked into the carpet. Dad was at the kitchen table. Same spot he always sits in when he's pretending to read bills but is really just avoiding emotion. He didn't look up. Dad, I started. He lifted a hand. A single stop sign of a gesture. Don't, he said. Not yet. So I didn't. Mom hovered behind me like she didn't know if she should hug me or taser me. Then Katie walked in. Barefoot. Oversized hoodie. Hair a mess. Eyes puffy. And I swear to God, it felt like the world stopped moving. Her face, when she saw me, didn't twist into rage. She didn't yell. She didn't scream. She just froze. Like I was a ghost she hadn't finished being haunted by. I took a step forward. Katie, why are you here? She said. Voice flat. Hollow. I needed to say I'm sorry. In person. She shook her head. Why? So you can feel better? So you can tick off your guilt checklist and go back to being the family comedian? No, I said. Because I couldn't not say it. Because I asterisk head up. Because you didn't deserve that. Any of it. Silence. Then she laughed, but it wasn't funny. Not even close. You think saying sorry unruins it? No, but it's all I've got. She looked at Mom, then Dad, then back at me. You should leave. I didn't move. Please, she added. Softer. But it hit harder. And Dad finally stood up, walked over, hand on my shoulder, not gently, not mean either. Just, final. She needs space, he said. And we need time. Can I come back? I asked. Later. Mom didn't answer. Dad didn't answer. Katie had already walked away. So I just nodded and left. Again. Except this time, it didn't feel like I got kicked out. It felt like I'd left the family. Like I wasn't part of the group anymore. Just some ghost who cracked open the wrong truth and shattered the whole **** mirror. Back to Ryan's couch I went. Backpack heavier than before. Not because of the clothes, but because I realized something. There are some things sorry doesn't fix. 3 months. That's how long it had been since I got kicked out of the house I helped fix, from the family I used to believe I mattered to. No calls. No texts. No. Hey, are you alive? From the people who once asked me to unclog every drain and hang every Christmas light while Katie supervised. And now? Now I was just some ghost they'd successfully exorcised from their perfect suburban narrative. Ryan had stopped asking when I was going home around week 6. I think he realized the answer was never. I picked up more shifts, kept my head down, made a little pocket-sized life for myself out of duct tape and bitter jokes. No holidays. No birthdays. No contact. Then last night, ding. My phone lit up like a haunted Ouija board. Katie. Unblocked. Full name. Same profile pic. Like nothing ever happened. My stomach dropped. My fingers hovered over the screen like it might bite me. I answered on the 3rd ring. Hey, she said. One word. Soft. Awkward. Almost guilty. You unblocked me just to say hey? I asked flat. No. I wanted to talk. Okay. Talk. Long pause. Mom and Dad are thinking about adopting again. Silence. Complete, total, earth-tilting silence. What? They want to try again, she said, voice weird. Start over. You know. Add to the family. Start over. I repeated, trying not to yell, but absolutely yelling inside. Katie, they already have a family. I was in that family. Last I checked, I didn't die. I got kicked out for breathing wrong near a family secret. They just feel like the house is too quiet. And I guess they want to fill that space. Fill the space. Fill the space where their son used to be. The son who dropped everything to help, who tried to fix ***T when it fell apart, who got discarded like a bad purchase for saying the truth out loud. Oh, I said. So I'm not even the family disappointment anymore. I'm the vacancy. That's not. Don't. I snapped. Don't defend them. You didn't even talk to me for 3 months. You let them choose you. I get it. I was the one who dropped the bomb. But now they're just gonna replace me? Like I was ***king crack chair. I didn't call to fight, she said quietly. Then what did you call for, Katie? My blessing? My applause? You want me to co-sign on my own erasure? No, she said. I just thought you should know. I hung up. Didn't say goodbye. Didn't yell. Didn't cry. But something in me snapped. Something that had been holding on to the idea that maybe, they'd come around. That I was still part of them. They made their choice. They didn't just write me out. They're casting someone new. And that's when it hit me. I'm not getting written out quietly. No more being the screw-up. No more, oh, he's just dramatic. No more disappearing. They want to start over? Fine. Let them. But I'm going to make damn sure their fantasy family doesn't come with a clean slate. Because I know everything. I know every skeleton in that closet, every financial panic they've hidden, every therapy bill they pretended never existed. And if they think they can replace me without consequences, they don't know me at all. It's not about getting back in anymore. It's about making them remember what they lost. I didn't sleep after Katie called. I just sat in Ryan's living room, lit by the pale glow of the TV menu screen, thinking about how my own parents, my own blood, decided to replace me like I was a broken toaster. Start over? Add to the family? F***K that. You don't get to hit reset when the defective model talks back. They want a clean slate. So I decided to hand them a nice, full-color highlight reel of everything dirty they've ever tried to bury. This isn't about getting revenge for some petty sibling fight. This is about reminding them that I was there, that I remember everything, that I kept receipts when I was still dumb enough to think loyalty was rewarded in this house. Let's start with the basics. Dad's little financial misstep from 3 years ago. The one where he used Katie's college fund as a temporary loan to cover a failed side hustle and never told her. Yeah, found the spreadsheets. Still in his old laptop. Labeled Do Not Touch. Classic. Mom's secret therapy sessions. Not for herself, for Katie. Back when Katie was having anxiety attacks in middle school and mom didn't want dad to know, so she billed it under her own name. Insurance flagged it. They fought for months. Thought I didn't hear? I heard everything through the vents. That fake cousin who stayed with us one summer? Spoiler alert, not a cousin. Dad's former coworker's daughter. Pregnant. Kicked out. Stayed in our basement for 6 weeks while they told everyone she was studying abroad. I found the emails. The ones where mom said, "We can't have Katie around this. She's too impressionable." All of it. Every lie, every secret, every memory they tried to scrub down like a murder scene. I have it. You don't grow up in a house full of emotional landmines without learning where the bodies are buried. By noon the next day, I'd already backed up everything to 3 different drives. I wasn't stupid. I wasn't going to post it online like some angsty teenager trying to blow up Christmas dinner. That's not revenge. That's noise. I was going to weaponize the truth. Strategically. Surgically. Quietly. Katie's call? That was the warning shot. But if they thought I'd just sit back while they adopted a replacement and posed for Instagram like the last 3 months never happened? Nah. I'm not trying to blow up their lives. I'm going to unravel them. Thread by thread. Smile by smile. Lie by lie. You don't erase your kid and walk away whistling. I'm not their son anymore? Fine. Then I'm their consequence. It happened on a Tuesday. Not a dramatic holiday. Not a thunderstorm-drenched night. Just a plain, boring Tuesday. Because that's the thing about consequences, they don't wait for the right mood lighting. They show up when you least expect them, in daylight, with perfect posture and a file folder full of reality. I mailed the envelope to the adoption agency. Not anonymously. No fake return address. I wanted them to know who sent it. Inside, a full, curated collection of everything my parents conveniently forgot to mention in their application. Financial instability? Check. Past therapy concealments? Check. The minor, Katie's friend, who once crashed on our couch with no parental paperwork or proper supervision. Double check. I didn't fabricate a damn thing. That's the beauty of truth. It doesn't need window dressing. You just give it sunlight. I waited. 3 days later, Katie called. She hadn't called since the last one. I almost didn't answer. Thought maybe it was another update about their new beginning. But she didn't sound triumphant this time. "Why did you do that?" she asked. Quiet. Not angry. Just tired. Do what? I asked. Because we were going to do this clean. You know what? Send the truth? Let someone else decide if they deserved another chance at parenting? Yeah, I did that. They're devastated, she said. So was I said. But no one cared when I was sleeping on a friend's couch wondering if my own parents would even notice if I vanished. Silence. They're not adopting anymore, she said finally. Good. Katie sighed, long and shaky. You didn't have to kill the whole thing. I didn't kill anything, I said. They did. When they kicked out their son to protect a lie. When they decided their comfort was more important than my humanity. When they tried to replace me instead of repair what they broke. I expected her to argue, to defend them, to say you went too far. But she didn't. They won't stop crying, she said. I didn't say good, even though I wanted to. I just let the silence sit there between us like a third sibling, uninvited, inconvenient, and real. They keep asking if you'll ever come home. I laughed. Short. Dry. The kind of laugh you make when someone suggests gluing a shattered mirror back together. Tell them the house that kicked me out of isn't home anymore. And that was it. We hung up. I stood there, phone still in my hand, and felt nothing. No joy. No victory. No adrenaline. Just stillness. They thought they could erase me. Replace me. Pretend I was the problem and move on with some fresh, blank slate child who didn't talk back or bleed the truth out loud. But now? Now, every time they walk past that empty bedroom, every time they pass by someone else's kid at a playground, every time they wonder what they could have done differently, they'll remember me, not as the disappointment, not as the mistake, but as the one they couldn't silence. They called it starting over. I call it starting alone. And I'm finally, perfectly, okay with that.
Thanks for watching. Bye bye.